Hello, this is Scholar Strive doing some math today. In Algebra 1, we'll be looking at solving quadratic equations by graphing. Now, a quadratic equation has two solutions if there are two x-intercepts. Quadratic has one solution if it has one x-intercept. And if it has no x-intercepts, then it has no real solution. So let's take a look at some examples here. So solve negative x squared plus 2x minus 8 by graphing. Okay, so what you want to do is set the equation equal to 0 by moving everything to one side. So in the equation here, I'm going to move the negative 8 over to the other side by adding 8. So I have negative x squared plus 2x plus 8 equals 0. Okay, so my a value is negative 1, my b value is 2, and my c value is positive 8. If you remember by graphing, define our axis of symmetry, we use the formula x equals negative b over 2a, which would be negative 2 over 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2 over negative 2, which is 1. We're going to then, after we found our axis of symmetry, so that tells us slightly where our vertex is, we're going to plug it in. X equals 1 into the equation. And this is define our y-coordinate of our vertex. So negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 8. This would be 1 plus 2 plus 8 equals, negative 1. Negative 1 squared, there we go. This would give us 9. So my vertex (1, 9). So around here, okay, we know it's going to open down because our a value is negative. X, Y. I'm going to make a table. Okay, if I plug 2 in the equation, I'll get 8. If I plug in 3 in the equation, I'll get 5. If I plug 4 into the equation, I get 0. So if I plug 2 in the equation, I'll get 8. 3, I'll get 5. 4, I'll get 0. If I mirror everything over, I will find the 2 points at where it crosses the x-axis. So right here, and let's use a different color. Which is 4, 0, and negative 2, 0. So my answer is those 2 points, x equals negative 2 and x equals 4. All right, example 2. We're going to move everything to one side. X squared minus 4x. We're going to add this positive 4 to both sides. Okay, so now we're going to use an alternative method. We're going to factor. Okay, so if we factor this, okay, we're looking for two numbers that multiply into 4 and add up to, so multiply into 4, our C value, and add up to negative 4, our B value. Okay, so when we factor this, that's going to be x minus 2, x minus 2. Because negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, and then negative 2 plus negative 2 adds to negative 4. So that means x minus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So we get one solution, x equals 2. Okay, that means our vertex is at 2, 0, because we only have one solution. If we have one solution, that gives us the vertex here. Okay, and so we can just make a table at this point. I'm going to choose 3 and 4. You could use 0 and 1, doesn't matter. But if you plug these in, you get 1 and 4. Make it symmetrical. And we're done. So once again, this green point here is our solution. This answer here, x equals 2. All right, let's do another one. So sometimes you can't factor because it has no real solution. And this one, we'll get to see that. X squared, moving negative 5x over by adding it. So our A value is 1, B value is 5, and C value is negative 6. X equal, find our axis of symmetry. We're going to find, we're going to use this formula here, negative b over 2a, which is 5 over 2 times 1, which is 5 halves. So 2.5. So a little bit, so here, between 2 and 3, is our vertex. Okay, now we need to plug it in, so substitute 5 halves, or 2.5, into the equation. So 5 halves squared plus 5 times 5 halves minus 6. And that's going to give us 25 over 4 plus 25 over 2 minus 6. 25 over 4 plus 50 over 4 minus 6. This is 75 over 4 minus 6, which becomes 12.75. So our vertex is at 2.5, 12.75. We know, since a equals 1, it opens up. So we have something that looks like this. So 2.5, 12.75. So around here, and then it opens up. Now, as you can see, this is not going to cross the x-axis, so no real solution. It only has a solution if it crosses the x-axis, and this will never do that. Alright, let's do another one. So find the zeros. So the zeros are just a fancy way of finding the solution. Because what we do is we set the equation equal to 0. Solution. Okay, if we do that, so I'm going to do it by the alternative method again, by factoring. I'm going to factor out a -1, because all these are negative, and I'm going to factor it out, because I like dealing with positive numbers. So this will become -1 times the quantity x squared plus 8x plus 7. Okay, two numbers that multiply to 7 and add up to 8, that's 7 and 1. Okay, so either x plus 7 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0. So x equals -7 or x equals -1. Okay, so here are my solutions, but they want us to graph anyways. So we're going to do that. So remember, if we're in, remember this is an intercept form. If we're in the intercept form, our axis of symmetry is x equals p plus q over 2. In which p is -7 and q is -1. So -7 plus -1 is -8, divided by 2 is -4. So that is where our axis of symmetry is. Okay, and then we're going to substitute -4 into our equation here. And we'll get and putting it into the original equation, -4 squared minus 8 times -4 minus 7. So this will become -16 plus 32. -8 times -4 is a positive 32 minus 7, which becomes 9. So -4, 9 is my vertex, and make my U to be done. Hopefully this helped you out. Have a good day.